Hi gorgeous! Welcome back to another historically accurate makeup tutorial. If this is the first video you've seen of its kind, I will have the full playlist linked for you below of other videos that I have done in this series, and please subscribe if you would like to be notified of new historically accurate videos in the future. Today we're visiting the time of ancient Greece. Ancient Greek women loved cosmetics, and the ideal look of this time was the no makeup look. Now, as we've seen in other cultures here on Historically Accurate, the rich were the ones who could afford the better quality cosmetics, but that did not stop society as a whole from using them. And the funny thing to note about the ancient Greeks is that they were so focused on natural beauty being the ideal image that after they had applied the cosmetics, they were barely visible on the face. There are 5 main ingredients in Greek cosmetics, including honey, olive oil, charcoal, white lead, and natural pigments and vegetable dyes. Olive trees are naturally abundant in Greece, so it's no surprise that olive oil became the lifeblood of their culture. And they started out using it to make fragrant oils, but it later picked up use in food, lighting, pharmaceutical purposes, and cosmetics. And honey is one of those cosmetic ingredients that's been around since 5000 BC, if you can believe it. And interestingly enough, it's still used in modern day Greek cosmetic products. So knowing all of that history, let me go ahead and show you how to recreate a historically accurate ancient Greek face. Starting out this tutorial with a moisturizer, the one that I'm using here is from Bobbi Brown. The cosmetic products that the Greeks applied to their skin required a smooth foundation to start with, so moisturizing was a very important step in their beauty routines. They mainly used creams with honey and olive oil to keep the skin moisturized, and they wouldn't apply them lightly, they slathered them on. For my foundation, I'm choosing to go with NYX's Stay Matte But Not Flat, and I chose this one because it is rather pale against my skin, which is exactly what we want for this tutorial. Pale skin was revered and seen as a sign of high status in Greek society. It meant you didn't have to work for long hours in the fields and signified wealth. However, even if that were true for you in this time, not everyone was born with porcelain skin, so they relied on white lead to lighten their skin, which was extremely poisonous and shortened their lives dramatically. But if lead wasn't available, Greeks would also use chalk, although it was used as a last resort because it wore off so quickly. In keeping with the pale theme that we have going on here, I'm also applying a concealer that is usually too light for me. This is one of the Urban Decay Naked Skin concealers. Blending that in with a concealer sponge from L'Oreal. For the eyes, I'm drawing a very thin line on the upper lash line using the Kat Von D liquid eyeliner. Charcoal was a very popular ingredient used for the eyes and eyebrows. It was usually made from sticks of charred wood and could be mixed with olive oil for application. They would use charcoal, soot, and ashes as eyeliner, brow filler, and eyeshadow. Although I could not see using it as eyeshadow for this tutorial because of the way that they revered natural beauty. Wanted to keep it as natural looking as possible. To mimic the charcoal medium, I'm going with an eyeshadow from Makeup Geek. This is Corrupt, and I'm applying it with the MAC 263 brush. The Greeks preferred very dark, heavy, exaggerated eyebrows, and for a time, connecting the eyebrows in the middle was the trend. Now today we would call this the unibrow, and it would not be so fashionable, but back then it was. And the reason being is the Greeks valued purity, so leaving the eyebrows in their natural state was seen as a sign of great beauty and intelligence. And if you did not have a natural unibrow, and you wanted to fit into societal standards, you drew it on. Interestingly enough, the application of fake eyebrows is also very fashionable for Greeks during this time. They would use either dyed goat's hair or oxen hair and attached it with tree resin. Those Greeks were very resourceful, weren't they? A red powder was usually lightly used on the cheeks, and this was made up of red iron oxide and clay. So to mimic that, I'm using a pigment here from Jessie's Girl and applying it very lightly on the cheeks to maintain that ideal of natural beauty. Lipsticks are also made with the same red iron oxide and clay that was used for the cheeks and often mixed with olive oil and beeswax. So in keeping with the Greek theme, I'm taking the same pigment I used on the cheeks earlier and mixing it in with a lip balm on the lips. I'll give you a quick little hair tutorial here, but I take no credit for this whatsoever. I actually watched another YouTuber by the name of Lopsy, and she did a whole video on Greek hair history that I found incredibly fascinating. So if you'd like to see that, I'll have it linked for you below. Only female slaves wore their hair short. Free women had long hair, but they could only wear it until they were married. The moment that they were married, they'd tie it up, usually in a bun, and while they were single, if it was straight, they would curl it. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm taking a wand and creating large ringlets in the hair. They would also often use ornamental headbands to adorn the hair, and typically made from gold and semi-precious stones. And that's why I chose this kind of headband for the look. And then I took sections of my bangs and wove it around the headband, finally tucking it behind the ears.
I trust that you enjoyed our trip back to ancient Greece today. Let me know where you would like our time machine to travel to next. And if you'd like to see any past decades, you're welcome to check out the full playlist below. Please subscribe for more videos in the future. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.